Today is November 3rd, 2022. Bama LSU this weekend for the driver's seat in the West. The Steelers are trash, fighting in the locker rooms, the tunnels of Michigan State, and what is going on in Auburn. So let's talk about it here and now. All right, so Bama LSU this weekend. This is a big one, really for the driver's seat in the West, because we'll have to beat LSU and Ole Miss and Auburn, so we got to win 3 more league games to guarantee our spot in Atlanta. So it starts Saturday with LSU, who's playing the best they've played all year. I went to LSU Tennessee a few weeks ago, and Tennessee steamrolled them. But they're doing that to everybody. So, but LSU's really, really playing well now. Makes me a little bit nervous. Night game in Death Valley. We're not very good on the road the last 2 years. This game has me a little nervous.
Yeah.
And we're 13.5-point favorites. That blew my mind. Or what's the spread? Wasn't it 13?
13. I opened at 13.5.
See, that shocked me. On the road in Baton Rouge, as average as we've been on the road, that shocked me. The spread was that high, and then it ticked me off because now LSU is going to have that peppered all over their billboard, all their bulletin boards all week long, all for 2 weeks, practicing whatnot. Nobody thinks you got a chance. Nobody thinks you got. They give you 14-point dogs, man. They don't think you can hang within 2 touchdowns of these guys. So that I can't stand that, but here we are.
It is really interesting to see what's going to happen. Everybody
got a
wants to
little bit
make
of resurgence after Ole Miss, and like Tennessee, it's a very hostile environment to play in, with one of the worst on the road teams we've ever had. So,
it's 2 years in a row we've really looked like had to grind out some road wins.
but the one pro is that LSU. I've watched LSU, and they always start horribly. They always start with a huge deficit. They have to claw them. Even with Ole Miss, they had to claw their way out of that game.
Yeah, that was like 17-3, and then I came back to it, and it was like 45-17, and I was like, what just happened?
Yeah, it's all right. Ole Miss has got this, and nope.
Agreed. And then you have that quarterback comparison that everybody keeps making this week, Jaden Daniels and Bryce Young.
Their stats are pretty close.
Yeah,
I'm looking at it right now too. Here, looking at it, 1906 for Young, 18 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, which they don't see there. Oh, they do see that. Sorry. Jaden Daniels, 18-12, 12 touchdowns, 1 interception. That is through passing. So he has 21 total on the year.
Does Jaden only have 12? Does Jaden have 9 rushing touchdowns?
He has 9 rushing touchdowns.
Wow, I did not know that.
But he's also their leading rusher as well. He is on 113 attempts, 524 yards, 9 touchdowns. For us, we've got Jahmyr Gibbs at 98 attempts, 672 yards, and 6 touchdowns on the ground. That doesn't include receiving.
Ooh, I think it's going to be about Bryce and Jahmyr, baby. Shout out to the UA unofficial UA assistant coaches, Mr. MJG, Mr. Jahmyr Gibbs, to the crib Gibbs is what Coach Doe calls him. So that's what we go with. I think he's going to be a big factor. He's going to have to go off. Or one of these receivers is finally going to have to freaking do something.
I agree.
I think we're going to run the ball early and often. They've given up an 100-yard rusher the past 3 weeks. We can
really?
dictate the tempo early. Yeah.
Okay.
AR-15 rushed for 109 against them. But
man. So I read an article today. I don't know if I sent you guys that article about why there's been such a drop-off in the receiver production from the last few years to this year. Of course, the main thing is the rideouts are gone. That was it's going to be hard to field receivers like we've had the last 4 years. Let's just be honest. That was insane. but our leading receiver through 8 games has 378 yards. 378 yards.
Is that Brooks?
I can't remember. In 2020, Smitty, after 8 games, had 1,050. Now,
he also had like 70 receptions. It was absurd.
Now, it's unfair to compare anybody to Smitty because he was the most unstoppable force I've ever seen outside of Jalen Waddle.
You talking about the Slim Reaper?
Slim Reaper.
The Reaper. There's a
Yeah.
reason they call him the Reaper. He takes
Yeah.
souls and
Slim, baby. Slim, baby. He's
Hey,
playing tonight.
touchdown.
What's he got? Let me check him stats on those Smits.
Schmitty.
Smith City. Yeah, but that shocked me that our leading receiver only had 378 yards. Now, they're spreading the ball around a lot more. They've got several different players with like over 20 catches, over 200 yards. So they're spreading the ball around. But we just don't have that dude, except for Gibbs.
And there's the crazy thing about it too. Usually it'd be our wide receivers that'd be stepping up, and you talk about how the ball is being spread around a lot more this year.
Right.
Looking at it, Brooks is the leading receiver. You were right. He has 21 receptions, 376 he's averaging 17.9 yards a carry or a catch. Sorry about that. His long was 40, and he's got 4 TDs on the ground. The next guy's Burton, and then after that, it's Gibbs again. Okay, so Gibbs is the leading rusher and third leading receiver. He was also the leading receiver up to week 5, if I'm not mistaken. So your running back's probably the second best player on the team behind Bryce Young. There's no doubt about it. I mean, and they're very, very they're close. Bryce being his decision making and everything, but yeah, it's something to definitely look at. But yeah, it's getting we're looking at everything else. I mean, at reiterating what Jeff said, Burton's got 306 and Prentice got 279. Holden's got so we got a bunch of people who got in the 200s as far as that goes in the receivings.
Well, it's that shocks me. I think Prentice is really the only freshman that's made any noise on the receiving team, on the receiver group.
Is Isaiah Bond a freshman?
Yes,
Isaiah Bond is a freshman, and I expect big things from him in the next 4 weeks.
He's got
Isaiah Bond.
He's got 9 receptions for 159 yards. His long was 53. So he was averaging up to this game 17.7 yards a catch. So that's pretty stout. I agree. I expect big things. He's quick. We've got some other ones coming up too. I hear that we might see. We've been hearing this for the past couple of weeks. Tyler Harrell.
He got in like the last 2 plays of the game against State.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he had 1 catch, so he does exist.
Oh, he did get a catch? I couldn't remember if he had a catch or not.
Yeah, 1 catch for like 12 yards
on the board.
But he's
getting
real.
Involved. Isaiah Bond getting involved.
So they do rotate a lot though, which kind of drives me nuts. It seems like they never have the same 3 guys out there.
Yeah, I don't know if that's planned or if we're just searching for somebody to, just take.
That's got to be it.
Like take it.
It seems
take
like
the job.
Holden has a huge drop in the first quarter every game.
God dang.
Don't march him out there.
Do you realize? Listen to this. The last 6 games combined, or the last 4 games combined, Holden has 6 catches for 50 yards. Combined 4 games.
That's absurd.
That sucks.
Terrible.
I mean, come on, man.
For a guy that was our number 1 coming in.
Yes.
Not good.
And he's made some big plays this year, and then he just suddenly just craps the bed. I mean, it cost him his job.
He's a big boy.
That cost him reps. And if Bond would catch, the ball as Bryce throws him, I mean, he's got the best name of all time for a nickname. I mean, if he starts dominating his last name like Bond, come on. I mean, the marketing is genius, but you can't be doinking them off your face mask when you're wide open. If you want to, get that NLI deal, man, or NIL deal, man, you got to catch them balls.
I agree. Have seen too
Shout
many
out to those in the chat. I don't know who's in there, but we got some people watching. So if you're watching and want to comment and give us a thought, give us a thought. I think everybody's awaiting Maverick's arrival.
Who's Maverick? I have no idea who that is.
I think I feel a need right now.
One of a kind. He's one of a kind. That's all I'm saying.
I think Maverick's probably going to come out when we start talking about the brawl that occurred over the weekend.
That was fantastic,
and
we'll get to that though, because I got thoughts.
Put a pin in it.
Yes.
Put a pin in it.
Somebody gave us a thumbs up on Facebook.
Yeah.
Whoever thumbs up, thank you for the thumbs up. We take all the thumbs we can get.
Looks like we got Brett Stallworth.
Thank you, Mr. Brett. Thank you, Mr. Stallworth, for that. If you ever anybody out there watching, listening, just give us we're all flowing off stuff, so that's how we roll here. Given the overall for this week, we've got to hit it fast and we got to hit it early. If we don't, we do not want to drag the game out and let this game go into the fourth quarter, because that's where we could really lose the handle of the game, and we could end up losing another game. So we do not want to get down and go to the fourth quarter this year, especially.
Yeah.
What do you think, guys?
Yeah, you got to kick them in the teeth from the beginning,
Yeah, we can't linger.
Just get it together. No, it's not gonna happen.
If LSU starts going, starts flowing, we in trouble.
And that's the thing. That's the one pro we have, is that LSU has always started horribly. So if we can at least capitalize on that, then we got something. But
yeah,
if we've been having the same slow rollout that we have with all the other road games, then I don't know.
I mean, even since week 1, Jaden Daniels plays his best football in the fourth quarter, because they were down and out in that game.
God.
Yeah,
and he really
we
turned it
can't
up.
knock it. He's got the stuff.
So we just got to attack early. In my opinion, we just got to attack early. Don't be conservative. Let him unleash. Let him unleash. I know Bob's got that paint by numbers offense. See the end of the Tennessee game, if you need any proof for that. That was a straight up paint by numbers play calling offense right there at the end of that game. All you do is run it 3 times in the middle of the field, make them use all their timeouts, and attempt a field goal from the center of the field, and give us the last play. They don't have time to go 50 yards in 8 seconds and win the game. Anyway, so just that's football 101 to me. Yet Bob was like, "Nope, not going to do it. No feel for the game. I got my paint by numbers offense. This is what we're doing."
They playing chess. Bob's playing checkers. All right.
And guess what? They went 50 yards in 8 seconds and kicked the winning field goal on a knuckleball kick. Went right down the middle. I said, "You got to be kidding me!"
Big brain move.
Big dog. Attaboy, Bab.
Babby.
Hey,
It's
who's the new Auburn? Who's the Auburn AD? That guy from Mississippi State. Call Bob, man. Please.
We'll pack for him.
Remember, this is the guy that traded D-Hop for David Johnson and a bag of worms. Never forget that.
It's a bad trade. It's a really bad trade.
It's terrible.
It's a really bad trade.
It's goes down as one of the worst trades that I think has occurred in the last 10 years. It's not even a joke. That trade was horrible.
Yeah,
It was very, very bad. I don't know how much
terrible.
leverage he had, because D-Hop probably just wouldn't have played anyway.
Yeah. Or he knew he was going to get fired, so he's like, "I'm about to get shit canned anyway, so I'm just going to trade our best player." And then he always knew that that Deshaun Watson was a scumbag. So he was like, this guy's going to play him. This guy's going to get himself in trouble. So I'll just trade D-Hop. And then when this guy gets suspended, I'll just leave this franchise a giant dumpster fire. Well done, Bob. Well done. Let me give Bob a standing O for that. Well done, Bob. Well done.
Probably on the phone for Deshaun. All the excuses.
Now I feel bad. I feel bad a little tiny bit. A little tiny bit. I feel bad for Bob because, honest to God, whoever came in following Sark was going to be a step down. Because Sark was the best play caller that I've ever seen in my life. Now that could be because of the weapons that the guns he was firing with, but he was the best I have ever seen at exploiting mismatches. Like I've never all the shifts and the motions and whatnot. You go to that Ohio State championship game and remember that play where Smitty got matched up with that linebacker that tried to twist Najee's foot off on that goal line play. Smitty didn't even run a route. They said hike. He just ran a straight line and left that guy. And I was like, that was Sark's brilliance in a nutshell. Was that play because whatever shifting he did wound up with that Borland idiot on Smitty. And Smitty looked over at Mac and was like, just chuck it, brother. And we got this cat. And that's exactly what happened. So Sark, that was what he was literally the best at, in my opinion, was exploiting mismatches. And Bob does none of that. None of that.
He's very vanilla.
Very.
And he's got a set of plays he's going to run, and he's going to run them.
Hey, Fonz, what's your bet on our first down play? What's it going to be?
Run.
First down. It's going to be a run.
Let me look at the script.
Damn.
Watch this. Hey, Fonz, real quick. What's the Steelers' first play going to be our next game?
A run.
Oh, man.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of teams run the first play, but they don't draw up the dumbest run play there.
What? Handoff up the middle?
Our teams do.
Hey, at least our run at Bama, Bob will at least run like a sweep of some kind. Matt Canada just says hike, and they just hand it to Najee as our line gets pushed back 5 yards. That's B block, but whatever.
Jumps around in the backfield a little bit. Somehow makes it back to the line of scrimmage. And then we're going to do it the same thing the next play and throw it short of the sticks. Anyway. Different conversation. But
that's about to say. That's a different block. But, yes, in my opinion, we got to start fast. We got to come out like, I don't know, man. Like, we just got to establish something early. Like, find our identity early. Like, find what's working, hopefully early, and then exploit it. Like, I mean, if this is the Bob complaint line, but, O'Brien never seems to exploit like the weaknesses on the defense. It's like we'll have a successful play doing something. I'm like, all right, we found the chink. That they can't cover Latu, or they can't cover so and so, or they can't cover the back coming around here on the sweep route. So let's pour into those. Nope. Bobby having Bryce out here ducking and dodging and zipping and zapping, running for his life. God, it makes me nuts.
It's brutal to watch, but
man,
I mean, I don't want to say anything that's going to get me in trouble later, but I don't know how good LSU really is.
Yeah.
I think
that's a fair question. I mean, they're 6-2.
I mean, they beat Florida by 10. That's decent win, not great. They gave
slaughtered Ole Miss.
Points. Slaughtered Ole Miss, but how good is Ole Miss?
Yeah, how good is Ole Miss really? Yeah. So, I'm with you.
It's a big question mark to me. I think we could go in and comfortably win that game if we do what we need to. It's a lot like I felt about Texas and A&M, where if we let them hang around, they'll take advantage. But
yeah. See, that's what ticked me off. It's like, dude, we are way more talented and better than Texas and Texas A&M, and we made them look a lot better than they are.
Well, you also have
Big
the
time.
teams that will just prepare for Alabama.
Right.
They don't care if they win any other game.
Right.
I feel
Yeah.
like that kind of plays into it as well, where like A&M, Jimbo will gladly lose every other fucking SEC game if it means he can beat Bama.
And then he hasn't. Oh, he got lucky last year, but
Yeah, that's the one F-bomb. It's a PG-13 podcast.
yeah,
He's not
like
here.
the
He didn't hear.
like the side note, like one of my first pods I did, I said a few cuss words, and my mom texted me after the show and was like, "You said ass 6 times, you said damn twice, you said shit once." And she like gave me the cuss counter. And I was like, "Sorry, Mom, I had a little drinky, and I was burning. So here we go." Yeah. So anyway, but I mean, I think we're better than LSU. LSU has one threat receiving wise. That's Keyshawn Butte. But the problem with them is they don't get him involved early in the game, and then he checks out. Like that Tennessee game, they didn't throw him. They didn't throw him a pass for like almost till the halftime, and he had checked out by then. I mean, he was useless by then. Early in the game, he was wide open on a deep route, and Daniels wouldn't throw it. So, I don't know if Daniel's a little more relaxed now and will let that fly going forward or not. But I think if we pressure him to, we got to stay disciplined, mind the gap, set the edge. If we blitz Henry all game again, I don't know if I can watch that.
Yeah.
We need Dallas Turner's starting to turn it up, though. So
Yeah.
I agree with you. I don't think Henry needs to blitz that much at all. I
He's
think we need
terrible
more out of
when it
Will
comes to
Anderson.
blitzing.
We need a lot more out of Will Anderson.
Yes.
He was pretty steady first half of the season. Past couple weeks, I mean, Tennessee not much of a factor.
He was a non-factor
Mississippi
against
State.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Did he do it? What did he do against Miss State? Does anybody got any of the box score? Did he? I mean, he had some QB pressures.
Yeah, I was there.
I remember that.
Off
Oh, you went to
top
the
of my
game?
head, he was involved, but I don't remember like hearing his name a ton. I heard
Yeah.
Dallas Turner a lot. Dallas Turner had a huge game, so we can get.
Is
both of
Jalen
them
Moody
going.
hurt? Do we know? Is Moody hurt?
He played against Mississippi.
I mean, he was popping early in the season, and then he hasn't played much in recent weeks, and I just didn't know if he was injured.
He started against Mississippi State. I don't think he was rotational.
Okay. I mean, he's the only guy out there laying lumber. I mean, he's blowing people up.
He's nasty.
Henry sure doesn't tackle nobody with any force or any drive. Deontay Lawson, I think, has a high ceiling, but you can tell that he's green because he seems unsure sometimes, or he's in the wrong place sometimes. Henry's constantly overrunning lanes and taking terrible angles, but we just come to expect that. But I like Lawson. I think Lawson's going to be a beast, but I don't think he should be playing ahead of Moody right now. But that's just that's just my couch analyst skills.
I'm with you, especially how soft we are.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that giving up 50 yards in 8 seconds in Tennessee was about rock bottom. I mean, that reminded me of the Shula years there. I'm like, is Joe Kynes coaching the defense in the last series?
That last throw wasn't even a particularly great throw.
Wasn't even a good throw. It was a duck.
Picked off. Yeah.
But had our DBs not just given up on had not just packed it in on that play, they could have picked that easy. I don't know if y'all remember well, of course I know you remember, but the 2010 Iron Bowl, the massive choke job that we pulled. But that long TD that Cam Newton threw, that Mark Barron should have easily intercepted that, and he didn't lift either arm to try to pick it off, and it went right over his head, and homeboy went down the field and scored. Like, I was screaming for them to cut Barron on the spot. And then, of course, after the game, they find out he had like a torn labrum and he couldn't lift his arms at all. So I'm like, What is he doing in the game? But in that vacuum, when that happened, I was like on the phone with my cousin going, "Yeah, cut him right now. Go walk on the field in the middle of the field and cut his ass." I was hollering. And then after the game, they come out. Oh yeah, he had a torn labrum, or he had some shoulder injury and couldn't lift his arm.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man!
I mean, I was so mad, God, because when Cam, he didn't even look. If you remember, Cam like kind of just turned and threw it up, and as soon as he let it go, I was like, "That's a pick. Barron's gonna pick that easy. That's so easy, such an easy pick." And then he went up with both arms down by his waist, and the ball went right over his head, touchdown. And the dude was down the sidelines. It was over. Parker, you got no audio. Just FYI. Did you mute your mic by accident?
How about now?
There he is.
Gotcha.
There he is.
No,
Sorry. What were you saying?
I had to say one of my biggest issues of defensive plays in the past 12 years is that play. He tore his pec muscle on that play.
That's what it was. His pec
he
muscle.
tore his
That's
pec
right.
muscle.
That's right.
And the issue was he stayed in the game. The rest, that was in the second or third quarter.
I can't believe that. I don't know. I knew it was some bad injury, but I knew he couldn't lift his arm or arms or something like that. But dang. Come on, brah.
Wasn't good.
Was not good. Anyway, that's 12 years ago, but still, it stings. But anyway, so I think this is our game to lose. But I'd be lying if I said that I was completely confident that we were going to go in there and steamroll. If we were in Tuscaloosa, I'd feel a little bit better. Although last year we barely beat that terrible LSU team with a lame duck coach. I don't know what happened that game last year. But if Ed Orgeron comes out after the game and says you ain't nothing, you got problems. So I don't know.
Just glad it's not on CBS, so I don't have to listen to Gary talk. Am I right?
Yes, the Lord.
He's back.
When does ABC take over? Like, can we get rid of these? Can we get rid of Danielson already? What's that?
Yeah, one more
year of it.
Okay, so it's next year too, and then in 24 is when the switch is.
Yep. So one more.
I can't believe they're going to go another year. I can't believe Disney didn't just say, "Here, CBS, here's $5 billion. Piss off."
Yeah, they own the world. I mean,
Yeah, like Disney said, you know what? We're just going to buy CBS. Screw it. We're bored. We hadn't bought anything in like a week, so.
As we snort cocaine from them level.
Good God.
Hang on a second.
Woo! Do I own you yet?
Like that movie Boogie Nights with Mark Wahlberg when they were trying to rip off that Coke dealer.
That was an episode of South Park too, where Mickey Mouse was like, "Who are you? Do I own you?"
Bob Iger was walking around doing that. So, yeah, but anyway, so predictions. Do you guys got any predictions? Parker, what you got?
I'm going to go with Bama's going to get the win. It's going to be closer than everybody thinks. I am going to probably stick with, they say 13 and a half. I'm going to go over. I'm going to say they win by 14.
Two TDs. Okay.
2 TDs. We pull away. We get it established. We run them down. Running game, as Scott said, it's going to be run heavy and often. And I think final score is going to be 42-28. Let's call it 42-28. Bama wins.
Bama 42-28. All right.
Bryce has 350.
350. I'll take that. What about you, Fonz? What you think?
31-10, Bama.
31-10. Oh, wow. Defense comes showing up in Death Valley.
Offense. I think Bryce throws for 250. I think Jameer rushes for like 150. I think we blow him out of the water. That's how I feel.
Nice.
That's how I feel. Got pretty close last time, too.
I hope it's Scotty's prediction. What about you, Murph? Mr. Fins up, asshole.
Fins up, baby.
Definitely not bitter about the Steelers' loss. Tua definitely should have had 5 picks that game, but go ahead. What's your prediction?
Just to be different, I'll be a little more pessimistic. I say we win by a touchdown. I think the game will be extremely frustrating to watch. And, I hope Fonzie's right, but Just
Yeah,
knowing
me
this
too.
on the road team and just and the environment that the LSU stadium will create, I think it's going to be a lot closer than I think we wanted to be.
Agreed.
That's a tough night environment at night. I mean, that place is nuts.
I mean, just watching Tennessee and how Bryce is having to like yell at his offensive line what he's trying to call, I think it's going to be the exact same situation.
I think he was yelling at him because it couldn't block. That's what I
Yeah, that's it. Problem.
Hey, I've heard really good things this week coming from the offensive line per Coach Saban.
Good.
He called
Good.
me up.
That makes me feel good. Like, I keep waiting for these guys to get sick and getting whipped and all these stupid penalties. And, like, finally somebody say, like, enough is enough. But, we don't have that guy. We don't have that Rolando McClain that when crap is going bad,
Hey, this
guys-
is a 2016 defense. That ain't
guys, when Rowe was around, I think you guys were like, what, 8 years old back then? But when Rolando McClain was around,
Oh no! Oh no! Yeah! Oh yeah!
like
was a
dudes on that defense were more scared of him than Saban. Like, I'm convinced that everybody balled out because they didn't want to face Rowe in the locker room if they lagged on a play, if they missed, if they did something wrong, if they didn't follow their or whatever. They didn't want to have to face that guy in the in practice or in the locker
here,
room.
by the way, in 09, there's
like-
there's what that gets you right there.
Yes.
Championship.
Like, I'm convinced that him, C.J. Mosley, Reggie, Reuben Foster, the wrecking ball, the baddest mofo linebacker that we've had ever. Well, besides DT and Biscuit, but Reuben Foster senior year, that dude was a one-man wrecking ball. And if Jalen could complete a pass, we'd have had another championship. But whatever. But we don't have that dude. We're missing that alpha on defense that's like that people fear. So, like, I'm going to ball out because I don't want to face that guy in the locker room. I think we're missing that on the defense.
I think we've been missing it for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who came along after Foster? Was that was what, Rashawn Evans? Dylan Moses
We had
almost was
Rashawn.
there.
That was it.
Moses, Rashawn Evans, Sean Dion Hamilton.
Yeah. And, he would have been the next one had he been able to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I
was
liked
great.
SDH, man. SDH was the real deal.
Alabama
and-
won.
and- You're right. He went to Carver in Montgomery. Like, he local from my town, like from my hometown.
3-3-4.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was a big SDH fan. I hated what happened to him with blowing out his knees twice. Losing him was a big blow to the defense. I liked him a lot. And I think he could have been that alpha in the locker room that was like, don't you come in here and let me see you loafing on a play because I will bust you up. You know what I mean? Like, Rolando McClain, people feared that guy in the locker room.
That they did. That they did.
Of course, he was 6'5", 250. I would fear him too. And he was from Gadsden. Yeah. You better fear that sucker, man. Or was he from Gadsden or somewhere? Where was he from?
It was north of Coleman. I know that.
I thought it was Gadsden. Maybe I'm wrong. Fonzie, the statistician.
Hey, if
Yes.
Cameron was here, he would know. He'd be like, know exactly where he was born.
When does Cameron come back from overseas? You guys know?
February.
February?
End of February.
Where does well, I can't wait for him to get back. I'm looking forward to bringing him on board.
I didn't realize they're moving into like their new house.
Yep.
Where- Yeah, that's wild.
Haley's been taking care of that.
Yeah.
Where's that? Is
Birmingham.
this Birmingham? Okay.
Man.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, I hope that the defense, I hope the defense spends 2 weeks, building on that performance against Mississippi State. I thought they responded really well against State following that Tennessee complete crap show, that Tennessee game. I thought they responded really well last week. I hated they gave up the touchdown at the end. Another pass interference in the end zone at the end of the game. Is that like the Bama way now? Every game we're going to get a PI in the end zone at the end? Is that how it's going to work?
Yeah, it was so hilarious for that guy being like threw his arms up like, what? What the hell?
Like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
I don't get it. But, you know,
Even he knew. It was like, dude, what?
you know, if our DBs would just do like this, they would have 20 interceptions. Because I'm convinced that teams now purposely throw it short because they'll get that flag every time. They purposely underthrow the ball because they know that the Bama DBs are never going to turn around. They're just going to engage with the DB, with the receiver. And hell, Kool-Aid early in the year was just tackling dudes. He was in perfect position, like against Texas. He had a couple plays in that game against Texas where he was like in perfect position for a pass breakup or even a pick, and he would just tackle the guy going out of bounds. Like, they're going to throw that every time. Like, dang, man. So I think Eli Rick starting is a big deal.
He was huge.
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 It was almost like the dude was like, for 7 games, I've been sitting here going, put me in, coach. I'm ready to play.
He can ball.
And
his
can
attitude
ball.
is good. He has a really good attitude. Just from what
I mean, he was technique. He was swatting ball. He was physical tackling. That one play where he like planted his feet and like, you know, rocked back and then came forward and swatted away. I was like, textbook man-to-man defensive back coverage. Why they didn't roll the dice with him against Tennessee, I will never understand. But you know, we're too late for that. But that Tennessee game shook Nick because Sabes was like, hey, this guy's got to play.
Agreed.
This guy's got to play. He's just got to play. Like, if anybody has speed, Branch, Helms, or Malachi can't cover anybody with speed. So, like, after Hyatt's like 3rd or 4th touchdown, I couldn't believe they didn't put him in at that point.
After his second, they were the same day. I mean, it's like
after his second TD.
I've never seen a team just run the same thing successfully over and over and over. The same guy on the same side of the field.
Dude, it wasn't like he was running Jerry Jeudy routes either.
No,
you know, he wasn't snapping off his routes. He was just running past everybody.
Yeah.
Like
our
what?
guys get confused. That one where Helms was left out to dry, they had a guy lined up right next to him. He ran a slant. Both corners took the slant.
God bless.
Hey, y'all get ready too. A name I've been seeing in practice through on the defensive side. Name to remember: Earl Little Jr., cornerback.
So he's back.
He's been playing, and
who is this?
Earl Little Jr. He is for us. He plays cornerback for us. He's a freshman. He's legit. So don't be surprised if y'all see him out there this week or this weekend. So,
I'll take that. Earl Little Jr. I wonder how I missed that.
Number 20.
He is a
20.
True freshman.
True freshman, 6 foot 175.
One thing I noticed you guys didn't bring up, and I'm shocked, is Alabama's record. Is Alabama's record in Baton Rouge?
Oh,
it's pretty good.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
We dominate Death Valley.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I have a feeling. I'm going to be right. You guys are going to be wrong. I think we're going to steamroll them.
Dude, I would be so happy. I'd be moonwalking all up and down my driveway if we steamrolled LSU because, you know, my good buddy at work is a huge LSU fan. Talking about Mike Parker. So I'd love to go moonwalking up in his office and be like, how's that painting doing on your wall, prick?
Oh, man.
But, you know, I mean, it is what it is, but still. So anyway, all right. So my prediction then is I think it's going to be I'm going to say 38-28. I don't think we cover 2 touchdowns, but I think we win by 10. But like you said, Murph, it's going to be very frustrating game to watch.
Yeah, I'm gonna be pissed
Like-
the entire time I watch this game.
Like I'm going to throw my hat at least twice during this game minimum.
I
got to find an old crappy hat that I don't mind stomping on and throwing across the room.
I really hope those referees don't ever have a career from Tennessee.
It has
Dude,
been 2 weeks, people. It has been 2 weeks since this happened, and it's been just like that. Hold on 1 second.
Well,
It's just been funny to watch all the other sports commentators like, oh yeah, man, that was really bad. Like, yeah, no shit.
It was really bad.
hey, you know what I found hilarious to me was the week after that Tennessee game, that same crew was reffing whatever game CBS was doing.
Yeah.
And they threw like 8 roughing the passer flags like in the first quarter. And some of them the quarterback didn't even get hit, but they just threw them anyway. And then like Danielson was like, even Gary Danielson said, wow, like Bryce Young's wondering where those flags were last week. Something like that. Even he made a comment about it where I was like, yeah, if Gary Danielson is even saying something benefiting Alabama, it had to be egregious. Had to be.
Danielson.
Garrence.
Gary.
Garrence Danielson. God.
Oh Lord.
Who cares about? Like, can we get Gary out of here, please? Is he gone yet? Gary Danielson.
1 year.
Yeah.
Y'all remember after Terrence Cody blocked that kick against Tennessee, Danielson was screaming into the microphone that it should have been a penalty on him for taking his helmet off?
That should be a penalty. They should get one more play.
He was like, I don't mean to be a curmudgeon here.
Yeah, he's a curmudgeon.
He played at Purdue.
That's right, Gary. You heard what I said. Gary, you are a curmudgeon. All right? You are a curmudgeon.
He played for the Lions. Okay.
I know you're listening,
And the
Gary.
Browns.
Yes. So, all right. So those are our predictions for Bama LSU. Let's move on to the other school in the state. This is going to be fun. So Auburn fired Harsin, which everybody who is alive knew that was coming, since they tried to slander him last year with that assistant or his whatever, where they tried to completely slander him and fire him for cause so they didn't have to pay his buyout. That didn't work. So then they let him start this season, and predictably they were garbage. And then they fired him, 8 games into the season. Big shock, huge shock. I mean, what a complete dumpster fire that process was. So my thought about Auburn's next coach was going to be Matt Rule, the recently fired Panthers coach that was formerly with Baylor.
Yeah.
That was my thought. Like when they fired him, then the Panthers fired him a month ago, or whenever it was, that the Auburn folks were like, we're going to call him already. But now that they hired the Mississippi State athletic director, I'm like, maybe they'll call Dan Mullen. Give me the human cow in Auburn, and I'd be laughing. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think it's going to be Matt Rule, possibly Hugh Freeze, maybe.
He just got a big contract.
Yeah.
That's my only thing.
Yeah. Or the Cincinnati coach, Fickle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I haven't seen his name thrown around.
Now, I haven't seen his name, but that's just a name that I could see them calling, a group of 5. Huh?
Do you really think he would risk it coming in? I mean, he's going to have to play. I mean, if I were Luke Fickle, Cincinnati, that's a good starting ground for being his level. Let's say Pac-12 or ACC. Let's look for somewhere there before you jump into the SEC, because I've seen too many young coaches or younger coaches jump into the SEC and they get absolutely, manhandled in their first 3 seasons, and their reputation's destroyed. They can't coach, and I would hate because I think Luke Fickle is a great coach. I think he has potential to be a great coach.
Agreed.
He knows how to win.
Agreed.
But if I were him, I would just for a little bit longer or find somewhere else. Mac Brown, he can't stay at North Carolina forever. I'd say
God, that guy's like 100.
I feel like I think he might be younger than Saban, but I don't know.
Hey, here's my prediction. For real. 100%. Will Muschamp.
Oh God. Oh God. What? No.
Please, yes.
Please bring him in.
Will Muschamp has been there
around.
He's already been there twice.
Exactly. That's why it's perfect. That's why Yellowwood is going to hire that guy.
Well, you know what, everybody? They got a great coach. They got a great coach down at UCF. He has a former quarterback from Oregon that is just lighting it up, and he's been to a national championship, and he has got a pretty good winning record against Alabama. Hire him right now.
Actually, he's under 500, but that's pretty good considering.
Better than most people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Nobody's really even close to that, so it's just. I want him to hire the fit pitcher. I call him the fit pitcher because every time you see him on the sideline, Muschamp is just screaming his face off. And I'm like, hey, buddy.
Sweaty.
You've been fired twice doing that. Maybe try something else. Where is Muschamp anyway? Wasn't he the Florida or the Texas coach in waiting like 10 years ago?
He was
in Georgia,
TV, wasn't he?
I think he's at Georgia, isn't he?
He is. He's a safeties coach and a co-defensive coordinator.
Okay.
One thing I think about Fickle, though, that will help his case for the Auburn job is he is at Ohio State for 14 seasons.
Forget about that.
So he's been at the upper echelon of college football.
Wasn't he the interim when they fired Tressel?
When they fired Tressel, yeah. So,
okay.
I mean, he's been there. He's recruited at that level. It's a little different than SEC.
Agreed.
But
I agree with
if
that.
I was Auburn,
I wouldn't worry.
I'd be giving him a call. I'd be giving
him
a call. I mean,
I'd call everybody. I'd call Urban Meyer. I would call Steve Spurrier. I mean, I would call everybody. I'd call Nick Saban. Say, what you up to, buddy? You tired of Tuscaloosa yet?
Steve's too old.
Yeah.
Steve's way too old.
Well, Urban Meyer's has got like a commentating job with Fox Sports, right? So
does he?
Yeah, I think so. So he's just kind of chilling over there.
Well, that was a pipe dream because, you remember Urban quit Florida because of the stress.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, go to Auburn in Saban's division and tell me if that lowers your stress level.
Then goes to Ohio State and wins him a natty. First playoff in 14. So.
Yeah, thank you, Zeke. I think we talked about this the other day at work.
Yes, we did.
Parker, about the trade to Priest incidents in that game against Ohio State.
Don't bring that name back up.
We don't speak that name on this show.
I was telling Jeff at work, there's only two names on Alabama defense in the last 10 years or 12 years that I don't respect, and it'll be the name Trey DePriest and Adrian Hubbard. Trey DePriest, 33.
Bye, Felicia.
Oh, gosh. I saw him get blown up on an Auburn kickoff. Or actually, no, he missed a lane on an Auburn kickoff, and they took it back for a touchdown. That was his, freshman year. And I said, this guy's going to be one of our starting linebackers one year. And he was.
We paid for it.
And Adrian Hubbard comes in, and as, the old man Pop used to say, looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane. So.
Okay.
You heard it here first.
So back to Auburn. I got a text from my Auburn buddy. I shared this with Parker earlier. My buddy Nick at Will's Pod. If anybody wants a good Star Wars podcast, go listen to Nick's podcast at Will's Pod. WHILLSPOD. Podcast of the Wills. That's my good buddy Nick. Great podcast. He texted me and said that here's his 2 cents breakdown. His fun hire, number one, would be Dion. Which, if Dion leaves for a D1 job, I think it'll be Florida State.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think he's going to be, in the next 5 years, he'll be the Florida State coach, in my opinion. I don't think he would even give Auburn an answered phone call unless they're offering like 10 and 100.
I also think his personality just clashes against Auburn's sports boosters. To be frank.
Yeah. Now, okay, so that was my buddy Nick's fun hire. His funny hire would be Lane Kiffin. But he also said just to mess with Saban.
Yeah, no shot.
Now, my opinion on Lane Kiffin is I don't think he would take the job because he wants the Bama job when Saban retires.
Yeah, exactly.
And if he goes to Auburn, he will never be considered for this job. And when Saban retires, I want Bama to call Lane or Sark. Those are the two calls I want them to make.
And Jeff,
When Saban retires in 10 years.
About Sark, with him being at Texas, unless he just absolutely it hits the fan and they're terrible, and they don't in the next 5 years they have 3 losing seasons. Texas is one of the only schools I think that can match us money for money, if not even more. We'll offer him the 10 for 100, and they'll offer 12. 12 for 10, or something along those lines.
Now Texas only people I think that could really match what Alabama could throw at them. But that's who I want, either Lane or Sark, when Saban walks away. But as much as Nick loves Pete Golding, that's probably going to be our next head coach.
Please don't say that.
I really thought he was the one in the wings for a long time, but past couple weeks have.
So his most likely hire, my buddy Nick's most likely hire, and my buddy Nick's a big Auburn guy. His most likely hire is Hugh Freeze.
It seems to be everybody's favorite.
He thinks that's the most likely.
Yeah.
Hugh, but like you said, Fonzie, Hugh just signed a big extension, which means really nothing. I mean, guys sign extensions all the time and then leave. I mean, Nate Oates signed that extension with Buffalo and then was announced as the Bama coach like the next day.
Yeah,
that's true.
Remember Tuberville said they're going to have to drag him out of Oxford in a pine box, and they introduced him as the Auburn coach the next day. So that kind of stuff is literally meaningless. But that would be a good hire if they hired him. I mean, they could do worse. This is funny. His God, I hope not hire is Dan Mullen. The human cow himself. He calls him Cousin Eddie. That's hysterical to me. I think Dan Mullen looks like a human cow. That's what I call him. Moo! When he's in that SEC Network show, like at halftime with Dari Noka and Doring and all them, and then you see Dan Mullen, I'm like, dude, how did you butcher the Florida job? I mean, that you don't even have anybody to recruit against in Gainesville. How do you butcher that job? I mean, maybe chasing down players to fight him last year or in the COVID year was probably not the best idea. Maybe telling all the Florida people to ignore the virus and come to the stadium, probably not the best idea. But that was his, oh, God, please no hire.
We're not recruiting. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Was Dan Mullen, which makes me want them to hire Mullen even more now so I can mess with my buddy Nick, because I think that would be hysterical. But that's his prediction, was Hugh Freeze was his most likely.
I saw Tennessee's offensive coordinator, Alex, name get thrown around, but I kind of feel like that's wishful thinking.
Yeah. I mean, you never know with these guys, man.
Yeah, that's true.
You never know.
Oh, my God.
Oh, boy. So we're going to bring in oh, crap. So we got something here. If you'll notice, my man to my left needs no introduction, but I think we're going to give him one.
You know what grinds my gears?
That's the bottom line. The Stone Cold Simpson.
And here he is.
Oh,
Thank you,
Maverick himself. Maverick.
Hey, that's the reason I said, because Maverick says so, and that's the bottom line, everybody. Well, yeah,
Maverick. Why don't you tell us what grinds your gears, buddy?
grind your gears.
You know what really grinds my gears? Big topic over the weekend was the. Oh, I don't know. You might have seen it. You might have not. If not, I'm going to tell you about it. So here we go. Michigan State, Michigan at Michigan State. The brawl in the tunnel. Everybody,
Brawl for all, baby.
this is one of the most egregious things I have seen in the last. It's despicable that it happened, and it's not the first time that it's happened this year. So I just want to talk about what the things that we've seen that have come out on this videos. 10v1. If I were to, that we call that, if it was out in the regular world, every one of those people's going to jail. Okay, every one of them.
Homie was swinging his helmet.
Didn't we see that again with Myles Garrett, Mason Rudolph, and the guy could have gotten pressed assault charges?
That was a live game.
That was a live game.
Yeah.
This was like, and let me interrupt you for a second, Maverick. Is Michigan stuck in the 80s? Like, who the heck has a stadium where the visiting team and the home team leave the stadium at the same time and go through the same tunnel? Like, what?
This has happened a lot too. It's not
Like
just
rivals too. It's like Bama and Auburn grind it out, and then they leave the game through the same tunnel, and then they're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe there was a fight. Somebody should be suspended. Where was the coach? Where was everybody?"
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised that a lot of these, like, they do that though, like the single tunnel, like non-governed, like,
I mean, that dump stadium has one tunnel coming and going. Like, come on now. You're Michigan. Like, add a second locker room. It's not that hard. Bama's done it like 4 times. I mean,
Look at it. Just imagine if you had Alabama and Auburn players going down the same tunnel every single year. Something would happen. I don't care what year it would be. It's just how big rivalries are, especially in the SEC. And like with those teams being the same state, little brother, big brother.
Yeah.
That is bound to happen.
Not a good look from Mel Tucker. Not a good look from Mel Tucker.
No, Saban send it too.
But, and I'm not saying that Michigan State was in the right in any of this. There was a scuffle at midfield after the game. They were getting in each other's faces.
yeah.
Michigan player decides to walk in the tunnel when Michigan State is going into the locker room.
Okay.
He's harassing them. You can
it
visibly
started on
see
the
him.
field.
Okay, so that was the guy getting his ass kicked in there, right? Was that
Yes,
one? That was the one guy.
That's
Okay.
one of them. Do I think he should have gotten his ass kicked and he should have gotten jumped? Absolutely not. I think that's a mess. Whoever did that should absolutely get charged.
Yeah.
I think 2 of them already had charges brought against them.
Yeah.
But Jim Harbaugh doesn't have his players under control either.
Right.
Not a piece.
None of them do. Neither one of them did.
Attention saying, "Hey, I just can't believe that Michigan State would let that happen." Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Well, where
Classic
were you?
blame deflecting Harbaugh.
Why is your player in the middle of a sea of white as they're going into the locker room?
Right after they almost fought in the middle of the field.
He didn't take them in there. Like they didn't.
I mean, it was a total crap show. Yeah, he went in there and got toe up. Yep. Now, does that, like you said, Fonzie, does that give him the right to hit somebody with his helmet? No. But
I mean, absolutely not. But
don't go in there and then be like, I cannot believe Michigan State jumped this guy. Like, what'd you think?
I agree with it. I mean, with that issue happening, him going in there enticing it, I mean, it's going to make people want to lash out. If that's the case and that happened, yeah, it was going to happen. Do I think it was right that it happened? I agree with Fonzie. No, it was still egregious. Still one of the worst things that I've seen in the last 10 years. I can't remember the last time I saw that.
Make no mistake, it was going to happen.
Oh yeah, it
was going to happen.
And the fact that there's no interference either from like the police, it's just.
Well, and then neither coach they get in the press conference, they're oblivious. Neither one of them had any idea what was going on. I'm like, what are you
I don't
doing?
wanna talk about it.
What is this, Mark McGuire at the congressional hearings about steroids? I don't want to talk about the past. Like, it just happened 5 minutes ago, bruh.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Remember Sammy Sosa couldn't speak English suddenly at that hearing too. Never forget that. No, me no speak in English.
No habla inglés. Oh man.
So yeah, like Michigan is stuck in the 80s apparently, or the 70s with the one tunnel for both teams exit. Like seriously, 100,000 seat stadium. Why don't you put a second locker room in there or a second tunnel in there? I don't know.
Go Wolverines. Go Big Blue.
I mean, I don't know. Just me. You know, it's like 101 lesson again. It's like, come on now. So, but that I think was a total dumpster fire with that stupid fight. The dude was swinging a helmet on him. I thought that was epic. You know, if you do that out in the street, you're going to jail. So, we'll see if any of these, what happens with this. But what is Michigan's record like? Are they undefeated?
They are undefeated.
They are.
Yeah.
And they are number 5 in the country behind Clemson. Clemson's
So, statistician, what are the CFP rankings? Does anybody have that handy?
I got you.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Is Ohio State too?
I believe
No, they
so.
dropped, right?
Georgia.
Yeah. I think it's Tennessee, Ohio State, Georgia are the top 3.
Yeah.
Clemson,
Michigan.
Bama, TCU. Who's a
TCU.
and people? Okay,
Oh, yeah,
It
that's
is
another
Oregon.
one.
It's
Oh,
Oregon,
here he comes.
LSU.
ooh,
LSU.
Oh, bring it.
So, TCU, I get where you're coming from, okay? I know what you're saying. It's Bama bias. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all say that y'all have one of the toughest schedules in the last couple of weeks, right? This season. Nobody wants to point out the fact that in the top 10, Alabama has the strongest strength of schedule, okay? They're number 10. Everybody else doesn't even come close. Within the next closest is 21st, okay? I don't want to hear it, okay? TCU had to come back in a lot of games in those late games. We lost to the best team in the country by 3 points to it in a game we should have won.
Right.
okay.
Even we had it screwed from us. Okay, I don't.
Yeah.
Regardless,
The
of
fix
that.
was in. Go watch the last show. Fix
Go
was
look-
in.
go
Everybody
look-
knows.
Yeah, go watch the last show. Besides that, we lost to the number one team in the country by 3
Agreed.
points at their place.
Agreed.
And you want to say, we're the best one-loss team out there now. The last thing we need to do, and it's for anybody, you have to win your games. You got to win week to week. If you don't, you start looking ahead, you're screwed, and it's going to happen to some of these teams. It's
just going to say that
we're getting to the nitty gritty, and some of these teams going to get caught looking ahead, like, oh, it's my first playoff. Well, Tennessee, I'm going to tell you right now, don't get caught looking ahead or get caught with your pants down, because it happened in Mississippi State in 2014. They were ranked number one, and guess what happened? They didn't make the playoff.
Was that 14 that were ranked one? Was that the Dak Prescott team that was ranked one that came into Tuscaloosa?
That it was.
Yeah.
That it was. Senior
That was
year of high
14?
school.
Wow. That was 8 years ago. Wow. Golly. Things go by quick.
happens every year. It'll play out. It always does. There's always 4 or 5 teams that deserve it in the end. Always. So anyone that's freaking out over the college football playoff rankings just needs to relax, enjoy the last month of college football, and it'll play out.
I was content with where we were in the rankings. I was not mad. If we were 7th, I was going to be fine with that too. I mean, we'll let it play out.
I think we should be 7th, to be honest, but I don't think it really matters. You know?
I agree.
Yeah.
It's first week.
I would like to see us ranked lower just to hopefully piss some people off in the locker room.
Honestly, at that point, yeah.
Like, knock us down even more so I can be like,
Yeah.
get mad about it.
Get
mad about it. Yeah. Like, get mad about it. Get mad about the disrespect. You know, I I was fully convinced at the beginning of the year this was going to be a revenge tour, and we were just going to slaughter everybody because how pissed off we were after that Georgia BS. But I mean,
Maybe they really weren't. Maybe they really weren't. And that's just the age we're playing in now.
so I'm hoping that, last 4 games, last month of the season, turn that junk up. Like, run these folks out. I don't know.
I'll say one last thing on this topic. And Dad brought it up to me, and he wanted me to ask this. So, let's say Bama wins and somehow loses another game, and playoff hopes are out of the picture. Let's just be theoretical here. Not being a negative Nancy, just being somebody who
Oh, that was going to be good, and the feed froze. Oh, well, that's all right. We got a good pose on him though. So I don't know if you hear us, Parker, but your feed froze, so you may have to pop out and pop back in. Maverick,
hello, am I back?
There he is.
Am I back?
There he is. There he is.
Yes, you are.
I'm sorry,
Maverick,
guys.
engage! Damn it!
Sorry. What was the last thing? What was the last thing I said before I froze?
Something about Papa Ely.
Papa Ely. So Papa Ely said this. Dang, that was really bad. That was pretty far back. I was getting into it too. Papa Ely said this. He said, so let's say we win, but we somehow slip up and we do lose a game and college football playoff is out of the picture. So we go to, I don't know the New Year's Six bowls that are this year that are non, playoff related. I don't know. Let's say we go to one of them. The 2 best teams from the SEC get into the playoff. Let's say it's Tennessee and Georgia. Let's just call it that. Or something along those lines. Tennessee and LSU or Tennessee and Ole Miss, whatever it be, Georgia, whatever. So we get into the bowl game. Would you blame Bryce Young or Will Anderson if they opted not to play? Would you blame them?
No, not at all.
Not those 2. Or Gibbs, because those are 3 lottery picks.
And see, I agree with that. 10 years ago or 5 years ago, I would have said that absolutely ridiculous. But I do have a stance to change on that.
Yeah.
I'm not for players opting out just because they can opt out and they don't want to get hurt, okay, or something like that. Will Anderson and Bryce Young have done everything they can for the University of Alabama and playing football for this team.
Agreed.
They're going to be they're both going to be in the top 10, top 15 draft picks. They have a career to think about. They've done everything they can for us. Bottom line. But if you are someone who doesn't just, want to stay involved in it and you say, you know what, I'm just going to take this game off and I'll come back next year. I don't like that and I don't respect it. And that's my 2 cents on it. So yeah, that's what we were talking about.
I mean, we might still play in the SEC championship even with 2 losses too.
That's true.
Just saying.
I didn't think about that, but
there's
tough.
a chance with 2 losses if we win the SEC championship, we could still get in. If a lot of things go our way.
That would be that is the most insane thing. And that's where the expansion comes in big time, where I used to not be a big fan of it, where now I'm like, we get in the top 12, we'll let it ride, baby. We're in. Yeah. We'll let it ride. I take it at 12 team playoff any day of the week because it gives us a chance. All right, we lose 3 games. We get right in. We can win the national championship. It'd be like the old days. You just get voted the best team in the country. Now you get to
it could happen. It could happen.
Where'd Murph go? He did disappear on us?
There he is.
Thought you
I'm sorry.
Guys, I think this has been a great show. We've got a lot of opinions out there. We've talked about some good stuff. We're ready for this weekend. Some things lining up. So I think we got a good weekend of sports coming up. Thank God the Steelers on a bye week, so I don't have to suffer through that on Sunday. But
Where's
Well,
the
still
Talking
is.
Fins podcast, Jeff?
huh?
Well,
Where's the
still.
Talking
is.
Fins? All the Steelers get the love, you know. Where's the Dolphins?
Hey man, I'll be happy to do Talking Fins with you.
Tyreek
I'll be
Hill
happy to
killing
do.
it over here.
Yeah, I'll be happy to do Talking Fins.
Yeah.
We won't talk about the game against the Steelers. That's all.
God bless McDaniel. Fucking goober.
I know somebody's son got the head coaching job of the Dolphins. So guys, this has been fun evening. Maverick, good to see you, my friend. Fonzie, Murph, I'm glad you guys stopped in. This has been fun talking about this big weekend of sports. Looking forward to how we come out of this weekend, and we can burn on this next week. And if we get jammed out of a win, I'll be ticked. If we pull one out, I'll be excited. So it'll be good to go. So that's I appreciate you guys joining. Roll Tide for life. We're gonna win this weekend, I hope. So, Parker, Fonzie, I'm with you. 31-10. I would love to see that. I don't think. I think it's gonna be a little higher scoring than that. But if it's your prediction, I'll be gleefully happy. So
We'll see.
good episode, guys. We will talk to y'all next week. Thanks. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If anybody's watching, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you guys next week as we talk about the reactions for Bama LSU and anything else that happens this weekend. Some big games this weekend. So everybody stay happy, stay healthy, roll tide. See everybody later.